Hey AfterBuzzers, welcome to the first ever Imposters after show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. Tonight we are going to talk about the pilot, Season 1, Episode 1. We have a lot to talk about and we're so excited for this show, so please stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, AfterBuzzers. Thank you so much for tuning into our Imposters after show here at AfterBuzzz TV. I'm your host, Sam Davidson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. I am joined by two lovely ladies for the rest of the season. Please introduce yourself and let us know where we can find you on Twitter.
Hi, I'm Mina, and you can find me on Mina Makes Magic.
And I'm Ally Nasta. You can find me on Twitter at Ally Nasta and on Instagram at Ally Girl.
And guys, don't forget to follow us at AfterBuzzz TV, at AfterBuzzz TV, and all social media platforms. Use the hashtag ABTV Imposters because I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of theories and a lot of things to talk about. So this is the first ever episode. What are our general thoughts? Let's start with you, Ally. What did you think?
I like it. I think it's going to be really intriguing. I like the way they set us up for the whole season. I think we have a really great grasp of what the characters are, what we're kind of going to be seeing throughout the season. So I'm really excited to get into it.
Yeah. What about you, Mina?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun and interesting to see who the real Ava is and just see her, who her true self is as it appears throughout her different con artist personalities.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, we're just going to call her Ava now because Ava Alice,
Maddie.
You never know. So let's start off to the beginning with Ezra, and we see him completely kind of, oh, Mina, here, let's push that over just a smidge. There you go.
Got it.
So we're going to start off with Ezra going to work, and he works for his parents, and it's a very, very weird kind of,
Family vibe.
Yeah.
But it's not a nice family. It's a very different sided family.
The
There's a
mom
lot of
seems
things.
nice.
Yeah, I was going to say, the mom seems like they have a good relationship and she's really concerned about him. He's a bit distant from the mom, though, but with the dad, definitely, you feel the tension.
Oh, they're butting heads for sure.
Yes. And then, of course, the brother Josh.
Which you can tell the brother's more kind of like the dad, and we saw a little bit of the side where she got him to admit that he's always wanted to sleep with his brother's wife. What?
That is honestly, that was awful, and I kind of hate him.
Yeah.
And so we see Mr. Ellis, who apparently is the head of accounting or something in their company. We're not really quite sure what the company does. He passes away. It seems like he dropped dead holding almond milk or something. I'm going to have to rewatch that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, if he really didn't die, then how did he just drop dead holding almond milk in the office?
What? How does it even happen?
They said it was a heart attack or something.
Right, but I'm assuming it was at home, because if he was there, how can you fake a heart attack with everyone? And then take you to coroner, whatever. So they have to have their ways.
Yeah.
But, he dies, and that's kind of the beginning of this catalyst to all the craziness. And then when Ezra goes home, he realizes that his wife, Ava, has taken all of his things, all of his money, and left him a video, which with a website, which I did go to, by the way, and it just directs us to Bravo's website.
Fair enough.
Good marketing.
I
was also going to say, you were saying how it's a little difficult to fake a death, but remember in the show how they kept talking about a doctor, and this is what the doctor had planned?
Oh.
So he's the head guy in charge, and my theory is that maybe it's this doctor who makes arrangements where he can just kill off each of these identities for the con artists, and he's the Wizard of Oz guy behind the curtains.
That makes sense.
Doing everything, so it wouldn't be that hard for any of the characters to fake a death if there really is a doctor involved.
It definitely is something very dark and twisted.
Yeah.
I will say that. What do we think about Ezra and Ava's relationship? We saw a flashback at the beginning. We saw their wedding video, which had that beautiful song we played at the beginning of this our after show. I mean, do we think that she still has any feelings for him?
That's what I'm kind of confused about, because I feel if she's, she seems to really put it out there for each person. We saw her kind of literally have every guy that she talked to gravitate towards her. So I don't think she has any type of feeling. I think she's literally just oh, you were a nice one. Out of all the guys that I've done this to, I feel bad. Yeah. Seriously, I feel the worst for you. I think she just felt bad for him more so because she knew he was a good guy, and all the other guys that she usually screws over are kind of probably not nice guys. So I don't think she still cares for him.
Oh.
And I think we're going to see probably more insight into why she is the way she is, because you even see when the girl is eating her ice cream, the little girl that she's observing from afar, she admires that the girl is manipulative. So I feel like she sees that as female empowerment as opposed to, no, you're just manipulative and you're a con artist. So it seems as though, like, this whole con artist thing is a way for her to survive. And that's why there is a good heart down there somewhere, because she does empathize a little bit with Ezra, and even in the video she's a little softer towards the end when she says, you know, I truly want you to find love and move on with this. Like, you can tell, like, I don't think she necessarily feels remorse, but she doesn't want anything bad to happen to him worse than what she's already done to him.
I just couldn't buy it, because obviously I can't help but think she's doing a fake accent. So she's doing this whole, like, at least, like, cut the BS and, like, stop doing the accent and just be like, listen, I just did this to you. I'm sorry. I hope you find the best of luck in your love life because you deserve it, kind of thing. Like, I feel like that was still her. Like, she's still playing into whatever role she has. So I don't feel like there was true empathy towards Ezra on that matter of fact, because she clearly got what she wanted.
At the same time, that's who she was when she was with Ezra. She was like the Belgian girl, so maybe she just wanted to keep that fake identity when addressing him in the video, as opposed to like her real personality, which is never going to be shown until probably one of the later episodes, or even maybe her real personality is how she is with her parents, if those are her actual parents.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, and we're going to get into them in a little bit. I just want to talk about Josh, his brother, for a minute, still, that airport scene. Ugh. It made me just very uncomfortable, and first of all, I'm so glad that he realized that it was her.
Yeah.
But also, that's your brother's wife. Like, I don't care they've been married for 5 weeks. Like, you know what she looks like. Yeah. With blonde hair.
Well, like, yeah, and that's kind of like, I feel like he almost was letting it happen, because he could have been like, oh, I didn't know it was her, when, like, really all she did was change her hair color. So I'm glad that he actually admitted to knowing it was her, too, but it was just kind of a really strange interaction, one, because she knows it's him, he knows it's her, but yet there's still having that moment of, like, you literally are saying you want to sleep with your brother's wife.
Yeah. She did more than just change her hair color, though.
What else
remember
did she
put on that, like, prosthetic thing on her head before the
what
blonde?
Does that do, though?
Yeah.
Doesn't it make your hairline, like, different? So
maybe.
I don't know if she changed her facial structure at all, but she did something more than that. But all, like, we recognize as the hair color. Yeah. But I know that she was going through that weird, like, transformation when she was
maybe that was like just a wig cap or something.
Was it?
That's what I thought.
I mean, I have no idea. I'm not super familiar with wigs or whatnot, but I do hope that it was something more that makes me feel better, because I'm also just thinking to myself, God, what an idiot, and that's not realistic.
Well, I feel like that just kind of goes to show that his personality, because he's clearly easy to just be like, oh, you like me, let's do this right now, rather than even thinking twice, to, like, thinking how it could affect other people. Like, that, I feel like that's kind of a reflection of who he is as a person, or his character in the show, and what we might see later on down the road, that he really just doesn't care about anybody but himself, and he's not worried about the consequences.
You know what I thought was so weird, though? Why was Ava still wearing the anklet that Ezra gave him in the first place? Like, that's a little ridiculous.
I thought that too, but I was wondering if maybe she did that on purpose to kind of be like, if she did see anybody, it was kind of like her alluding to be like, see ya. I don't know. But I thought that was strange.
I thought two things. I thought, one, it could be that she still is in love with Ezra, and that like she's kind of taking it with her, and that's her thing, and she didn't think about anyone seeing her foot. But also, she's a con artist, she's a professional, so I don't necessarily think that's a thing. I think that I think she felt bad about doing what she did to Ezra, and then knew his brother was super shady. Also knew that his father was super his father was super shady, and she basically blackmailed him through the line of his father and hurting his mother.
Right.
Which kind of stinks, because Ezra and the mom are, like, the nicest people. Like, if anything, just take the dad down. You know? Like, not the whole family.
But you have to take the dad down through someone who's, like, so oblivious and good-hearted, as opposed to the dad would be, like, way tougher to take down. But I don't get why she didn't go after Josh, because I feel like he would have been really easy to take down.
But I honestly think she felt too guilty about it. I think that she felt, this is too weird. I actually kind of maybe loved this guy or had feelings for him for Ezra.
Interesting.
I can kind of see that a little, honestly. I wouldn't be completely shocked if we see down the line that she has flashbacks about her relationship with Ezra. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, and I mean, then we see that moment, which we weren't too clear on, with her in a motel watching a movie in her underwear. And, like, but I think it's supposed to show us that she is sensitive and actually, like, wants to find something and is kind of lost herself. That moment, I don't think, was just for whatever.
Yeah, and they purposely, juxtaposed it with Ezra watching the wedding videos. That's why
true.
if anyone online knows what movie it was, please, tweet us, let us know.
Yes, absolutely. Please, please, please let us know. That would be amazing.
It's the guy from Dumb and Dumber. I don't know his name.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Daniels.
Daniel something.
No, his last name is Daniels. Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels,
Yes,
yeah.
Jeff Daniels, of course. That was a huge brain fart on my part because I talk about him all the time. Well, okay, so let's talk about this Maddie character, who I'm thinking is his assistant. We were very confused. We were
You
like,
mean Gabby?
Gabby. Oh,
Gabby.
shoot.
Maddie was the alter ego.
Another
Sorry.
con artist.
No, you're good.
Maddie, Gabby.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I'm not really sure anything about her.
Well, she's totally in love with him.
Yes, but she's taking advantage of the situation. I'm like, who is she working for? I'm so paranoid at this point.
That is true. She totally was kind of jumping. Like, she, totally jumped on him as soon as she found out that he was single. Like, didn't even wait. It was just like, all right, I'm going to come help you. We're going to drink wine. We're going to do this. But clearly didn't work out in her favor. But
he still, you can tell that she still liked him just because, remember, after the whole anklet gift, she asked him, so how did the anklet go? So she's just trying to, have some sort of rapport with him, anything at all. Bond with him about anything, even if it's about the love of his life.
I feel like this anklet is going to be kind of this weird through
motif
story. Yeah, because she mentions it, and, the reason that she gets caught through Josh is because she's wearing it. So I'm just not sure, and we were confused as to what her part was in Ezra's life. At first we thought that was his sister. And I think when he said mom and dad,
uncomfortable as soon as I was like, Gabby likes him, and then you were like, oh, it might be his sister. I was like, never mind. I'm totally uncomfortable for saying that.
Yeah, I was so confused. I couldn't figure out, wait, assistant, sister, because it's that whole family business thing.
Yeah.
But at first I was like, no, that's totally his sister. But.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure, but I do think that I'm paranoid at this point with the entire show.
Don't trust anybody.
So, and I do think her behavior is very bizarre, especially, let's say, that she is his assistant. How inappropriate. Obviously, he's going to be brokenhearted and, going to call you his fake wife's name. I mean, she just left him, and why would he go home with you? Why are you trying to booze him up?
But also, she was the one that said, let's get drunk and just, not care about what happens. But kind of the awkward point, too, is, it's not like you're never going to see him again. You work in his family's company. You're clearly going to see him again. This isn't going to go away.
But he did quit, remember? So they hooked up after he quit.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, it's still his family's
that.
business.
Yeah.
So he's still going to be around. It's not like he can just totally exile himself from there. And they're probably going to have her be like, oh, go do stuff for Ezra. Go check on him. So, no. I was going to say maybe the dad sent her, but then I was like, no, she's too in love with him to, have anybody have to send her to, make sure he's okay.
Yeah, I do think that she is in love with him, this girl.
Yeah,
Pretty obsessed with him.
Pretty obsessed.
Just a little bit.
But I don't think it's, an ill intentions. I think she literally just saw, how he treated Ava and kind of longed for that in a boyfriend, and so maybe that's kind of what she sees in him and
I think
Ezra.
you're too nice.
Oh. Maybe I am. Maybe she's going to turn out to be some, crazy part of the story. But
She seems like a crazy person to me.
I think we're all on edge now, just like Ezra, because remember how Ava was saying, you're probably not going to trust anyone after this. I feel like that's kind of how,
we are?
Yeah, we're kind of like that, wait, is this person in on it? Is this person in on it?
Yeah.
And we're kind of, thinking, who else is in charge? Because... yeah, like I said, it's kind of like Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, but more dramatic.
Right.
Not as comedic.
And I mean, speaking of other people that are in on it, we do find out that the man who died at the beginning of the episode, quote unquote, died. What was his name?
Mr. Ellis.
Mr. Ellis. Yeah, he is this man that sits next to her on the airplane. And then the woman who I was unclear in the flashback / the video who the woman was that supposed to be her mother?
Her aunt, I think they said. I think it was like Mr. Ellis's wife.
Okay.
So I think Mr. Ellis was supposed to be her like uncle. And that
I
no,
don't
but that
know.
doesn't make sense because
Was that her name Sally, or was that
Sally was her new name, I think. In the next,
Because Sally
thing.
was, I thought Sally was her original name, but they were changing it to something else. But is that Ava's mom? The person in that wedding video, was that her Ava's mom? Or
at first I thought that it's like, okay, this is a weird parallel between his family and her family.
Yeah.
Two super messed up families that are controlling their children. But I'm just not really buying that those two people that are also con artists with her are her parents. I'm not sure. What do you guys think?
Actually, okay, I just had I've been thinking hardcore. I'm like, how did this all connect? So
Yeah.
Mr. Ellis was the accountant that they hired that day. Remember, he was like, you hired an accountant and he died.
Well, no.
So
I think they were asking him to hire a new accountant
yeah.
because Mr. Ellis had died, but his father did say that they were maybe expecting him to die or
well,
something.
not that they were expecting him to die, but he said make sure you have someone lined up. Just I think maybe a corporate thing, always make sure you have something, especially when it's a huge position.
If someone
like that.
dies,
But maybe because he's so old.
it's this isn't president of the United States.
Well, I was wondering. I just thought that. Then maybe I misheard that because I heard that they had just hired him, even though he was too old. So they said to find someone younger, but maybe I just misheard. Because then that would make sense as to how it'd be somebody in Ava's family that he hired on to be nice, and then he kind of was able to get in on that information, got it all, and they were able to get out and make it a clean. Because there's no way else she would get all that information besides Mr. Ellis, and there's no way that the family would have it's not like he would have worked for the family for years, because clearly she meets people for 5 months, they get the job done, and then she leaves. So I don't know, there's so many different twists and turns in this diorama of people connected, and
It really is, and I'm gonna probably watch the pilot episode 2 more times.
yeah, no, just to make sure you're understanding everything, because there was so much information.
Yeah, and I mean, it's very confusing because we actually don't know what her name is on the show.
No.
We're very confused. And on that point, we meet a Chris Evans lookalike. I mean, I'm sorry, am I the only one that he looked just like Chris Evans? His name is Richie.
Richie.
Yeah, he's the other husband
Yeah,
that
yeah.
comes to meet Ezra.
Wait, who's Chris Evans?
Captain America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he looked so much like Chris Evans to me.
I did look at his face and I was like, he looks familiar, but I can't pin I can't pin it. So
He
that's
looks
probably
like
it.
2 actors combined
Yeah.
to me.
Maybe, yeah. I didn't see Chris Evans in there, but
Really?
he did have that superhero look, something about.
He's got
Wow.
a super chisel look, that's for sure.
Yeah, clean cut too.
Yes, he looked good, and he knocked on Ezra's door, and this was, we're caught up 5 weeks later after all this crazy stuff has happened. And he says he's the FBI. He's a car salesman, actually. Why would she con him?
Then it must have been somebody else that he maybe was involved with, but I don't know. Because the way that it seemed, well, then maybe that's what the doctor, it's maybe it doesn't all have to do about money, but it's about bringing people down. So he must have done something in his past, and it clearly was all states, everything kind of went easy for him, so maybe, I don't know.
Was he a car salesman?
Yeah.
I know he had some weird car dealership ties, but
Maybe he owned it. Because for
it
me,
seems like he was way higher up than that.
Because she took both
Yeah.
Ezra and Richie's, all of their money.
Yeah, so it would have to be a position within a dealership that was way more lucrative.
Then maybe he did own it because his face was on it, so that would make sense.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because he said he was all-star, a regional quarterback of his high school football team, and then he was on the face of the car dealership.
Yeah, that's why I thought he was actually in sports. That's what I thought at first.
Yeah, no, but I think that's what makes sense. I think he was in a small town, and then obviously his parents probably owned it, so then she took all of his stuff.
But I think it did overlap with the time that she was married to Ezra.
Yeah, it was the same time because
He said 4 months ago, and
Yeah.
Ezra got married to her, I think, basically 2 months ago.
I totally missed that.
I'm-
Oh my gosh, that makes things so much different.
Yeah, I mean, these
she
two
was
men.
playing people at the same time or general time
How?
frame.
How did she do that if she's living with people? Well, maybe
Well, maybe one of them had night shift. Wait, I don't know if any.
Yeah, that makes
if
no
they
sense.
traveled a lot or had a night shift. I
Maybe
really don't know.
she didn't always live with him. Like maybe she didn't
was a
move in
new
with
thing.
Ezra.
I mean, maybe we don't have the timeline right, which I'm thinking is true because perhaps she ended up leaving Richie.
And then starting something right after.
Yeah, with Ezra.
That would make
in Paris, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, which was really random. I don't know.
Yeah.
My whole thing is like, okay, can we just take a moment to realize how does she get these guys to just fall head over heels for her?
She's beautiful.
Well, yeah, she's beautiful, but
Yeah.
literally every single one of these guys, she was able to manipulate into making them all feel the same way.
I know. I need to
think-
take a page out of her
I know,
book.
like-
I'm so confused.
I honestly feel like because she has so much background information about them, she knows what each person will like. So she knows that Ezra's the kind of guy that'll like the quirky Belgian accent, you know. She knows
Yeah, I
she
guess prompts
that
them.
Alice is going to be, the blonde, bombshell that the quarterback guy is
Oh,
going to
that
like.
makes
You know what I
sense.
mean? Like she caters her image according to whatever info she gets from the doctor or her dad or whoever's telling her what the assignment is, and then
That makes
she knows
sense.
how to mold herself because they already know what the person is like and they have so much background on
that
them.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to talk about how Ava/Alice wants to go rogue. She brings it up to her, quote unquote, let's say, con family, to say, let's do our own thing.
Yeah.
And they shut it down very quickly because they basically say we die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
They-
look terrified.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she says that she's just kidding, right?
Yeah,
But
which
she's
means
not.
that she probably wants to do it on her own if they're not on board, and she doesn't want to have them think that.
Which I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Was the guy in the coffee shop her going rogue? That wasn't part of the plan, right?
No.
That
Okay.
was because he's hot.
Yeah.
She's like, he's hot, he's rich, so I'm going to go rogue and do my own thing. Have you guys ever seen the movie Heartbreakers?
Mm-mm.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, the three of us need to have a movie night, first
Okay.
of all.
Definitely.
It is Jennifer Love Hewitt and Sigourney Weaver.
Mm-hmm.
And it is basically about a mother and daughter duo that are con artists. And, they basically work with each other and they both seduce men at the same time. And and the man will cheat on whoever he's with at the time, whether it's the mother or the daughter.
What?
It's very messed up.
This sounds messed up.
But the man doesn't know that they're mother and daughter. So they're basically a duo. So
What?
let's say Jennifer Love Hewitt is seducing a man, and then her mother, who's also very beautiful, will go and be like Stifler's mom and seduce him at a bar, and then they'll catch them in the act, and then they will take them for all they're worth. So there are these con artists. There's two women that are mother and daughter that go from expensive town to expensive town
This
to
is an
seduce
old
these men.
one, right? This is-
Yeah, it's like 2000,
Yeah.
2, 3, something like that.
Man.
It's a really, really good movie, but this one reminded me so much of it.
Yeah.
Because it is this team that's kind of going around. And then in the movie, Jennifer Love Hewitt does decide to go rogue, and that's when she falls in love. So, I don't know. And I mean, that guy that she does approach in the coffee shop, his name, I think, let's see, Evan? I'm not sure what his name was. I want to say it's Evan, but that's too much to Ezra, Ava. It's just,
Yeah. There's so many names. We're gonna have to go back and we should make
Yeah.
a chart, a diagram of okay, so this is Ava, this is who's connected to her.
A family
and then
tree.
this is blah blah, they're this is who's connected, I just need to know all that information.
Heartbreakers is the name of that movie.
yeah, Heartbreakers.
Heartbreakers.
It's an amazing movie, actually. One of Jennifer
to
Love
know.
Hewitt's best, I will say, besides Can't Hardly Wait. But, yeah, and so she tries to talk to this guy in the coffee shop,
Yeah.
and he is having it. He likes it, and he's very rich. You can tell he's rich because he's just sitting there and he doesn't have to work.
What do you think his job is? Any guesses? Because he looks so entertainment industry-ish.
I don't know, because they're in Seattle, right? And
I think he might have just, maybe he sold his company. He's
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe a Silicon Valley situation
Yeah.
for a bunch of millions, and he's just sitting. I mean, what is he doing in coffee shops? Trolling for con artists? I mean, honestly, that's what he's asking for,
true.
if you ask me. And I love it how she kind of just brushes up against him, and she's like, "Hey, how are you doing? What's wrong? What do you do
She's
for
like-
work?" She
Yeah.
wants to verify what she's researched. clearly.
She lets him make the first comment though, doesn't she? Because she's like she's like obviously positioning herself so that he'll notice her.
Totally.
And then like he starts the conversation about not wanting kids or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, she really, and that is when they see those two children, which is a very telling thing. And you know, the brother and sister are fighting, but the brother doesn't do anything wrong, really. It's the sister that pretends like he did and takes his ice cream cone, which I have I have two brothers, but I have one that's 2 years younger than me, and I had some really, like, we talk about it now, and there was one time I pretended he slammed my finger in a door, and I flipped him off as I was fake crying, and my mom was punishing him.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Yeah, we still talk about it. He's like, "You're such a little psycho,"
So
and I was
savage.
like, "Sorry."
You're like,
it was
"Sorry."
hilarious, but
That's so funny.
I loved that scene because I thought to myself, God, I'm sure I stole my brother's ice cream cones so many times.
Mom!
God, Mom, get him off of me! And he's like, what? Like, I literally used to do that. So maybe I'm a future con artist, and maybe I have the wrong job here. I think I should move on, you know.
Career.
Yes. But I did love that, and I did think that was kind of like a future thing that we're going to see. But don't you think that she has heart, that she's struggling in her own mind, maybe?
I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure if, like, she's gone from person to person, personality to different personality, and being around so many different, like, I've said personality like 5 times, but same thing, you know? I think that that's kind of a confusing as it is, so for her to try to, like, peel back the layers for herself is a little bit hard because she doesn't even know who she is because she's changing it every couple months. Like, I mean, and not even just, like, changing it in what she wants. She's literally reading a description and, like, I feel like that's, like, what is it? I can't even think of the word. But basically, like, she's just, like, thinking so hard and
Profiling?
reading. Yeah, like, she's, like, figuring out all these different people. So probably all those different people are, like, strangling her head. So she's like, I don't know who I should be.
Yeah, so she probably doesn't even know who she is.
Yeah, sorry. I don't even know that made sense. I just
Probably-
rambled
it's kind
on.
of like an actress, though, in a weird way, though, right?
Yeah.
And, like, each role that you do, you still bring a part of yourself into that role. So that's why I feel like we'll still probably be able to tell bits and pieces of who she is based on the common thread between all the different aliases she has. Like, there has to be, like, some bits of truth. Like, not everything's gonna be a lie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
people can tell when you're truthful when you say something that's from the heart. And that's why you need to keep, as a con artist, because I would know from a child, the little bit of truth in reality in yourself with the relationships with people, because that is what they take with them. That's like, this is a real person.
Interesting.
I don't know. Well, and I actually really don't know. I'm not a con artist.
Sam is not a con artist.
Terrifying. I mean, honestly, that would be amazing if I could be, but I don't really think it's an option for me right now. Anyways, maybe I've discovered a future career. On that note, I think we've covered everything from tonight's episode. Let's get into some predictions. I know we have a lot of them.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, Ally, let's start off with you.
Oh, it's kind of hard because we did see some little snippets of what's going to happen next week. But I just like a random one. I think that Ezra and, sorry, what was his name? Richie, they're just gonna become like best friends, and I think that's gonna help Ezra like not be as depressed and sad. So I think because they kind of have this fun brotherly dynamic, and I don't think he's ever gotten, from what it seems so far, it doesn't seem like he ever got that like brotherly. His brother was just kind of always like, whatever. His
Brother's a douche.
Yeah. So I think that that'll be kind of like a fun like add some comedy to the seriousness of the show and how crazy it's gonna get. So I think that's just like a small prediction. As for the con artist family of, we don't know how to call them, I am predicting that they are for sure like mother, daughter, dad. Like I think they're definitely a family.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think they're a family, too, even though there was something about it that was so composed and a little weird. But I think we're probably going to get more insight next week's episode on who the doctor is, unless it's one of those Charlie Angels shows where you never see the man behind
You'll never
everything.
find
But,
out.
like, that's what I'm really excited about. Like, I want to know who the doctor is. I also think that there might still be a rat in the Ezra Bloom company, or his dad's company. I think there might be someone in there that still has ties to, like, whatever this con artist thing is and is just like lurking there for more information. Because they can't abandon that after doing this. They need to see how everything's like escalating, right? There has to still be someone there.
I think that that's not usually what happens, but because, quote unquote, Ava was in love with Ezra, she, hired Gabby to maybe just keep an eye on him and because Gabby says after they almost have sex, do you want to make love with me or do you want to make love with your wife? To make it very clear so she can kind of report back to Ava.
Oh.
I don't know. I think that, and I also think that the thing with Ezra's father is going to become, it's just going to be coming out regardless.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think it should.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense, actually, because if that comes out, then, they could possibly get their money back and find her.
Wait, I have an idea. What if the person that he cheated with is also part of that whole thing? How it's the women bringing down the men?
Yeah.
Maybe
well,
they
it does
also
seem
had...
like that's a theme with the children that she saw with the ice cream cone.
Right.
She was empowered by this little girl taking down her brother.
So what's the role of the men then? Because I feel like they're putting the burden of responsibility on the daughter to do everything. What's their role? Are they just backup, or are they...
Seemed like it. It seemed like she had, I think in every one it was different because they all, I don't know, actually they could just be supporting because I think in this one she's got to take down the guy. Again.
Right.
I think that's why she's so passionate about going rogue, because she's doing all the work. For them, they'd rather not challenge authority because they have such a minor part that at 30%, so they're only getting 30% of the cut.
I know, that was crazy.
So 70% goes to the doctor. That's nuts to me.
Well, I also think that, yes, that's the theme that it's been, that the men are kind of taken down, except there is a man in the operation. Maybe, I don't know if I'm assuming the doctor's a woman, actually. But I do think that because of Ezra, she is, kind of evening herself out. I think she actually fell in love. So, I don't know. On that note, let's get into some Or we just did.
Yeah.
I was like, I have so many more predictions. So, I think... Thank you, James. Thank you so much. No, but I think that because of her love for Ezra, she's kind of going to be doing things a bit differently and is going to continue to keep track of him.
Interesting.
And I do think that Ezra and Richie are going to kind of have this... They're going to be best friends, but then they're also going to be wait, we're still in love with this girl because she's going to come back. And
I don't think Richie's going to be in love with her anymore. I feel like he's, done. He doesn't seem emotionally invested. He seems so, overwhelmed by anger that I don't think he's going to even have those feelings resurface.
I don't know, because he did seek out Ezra, so, he still has them floating around on that note. We are going to watch this, I think, a couple more times before next week because it was just a lot, you guys.
On.
It was really, really fun to do this, and I would love to hear your predictions for next week. On that note, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at Ally Nasta and on Instagram at Ally Girl.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter, Mina Makes Magic, MINA.
And you guys can find me, Sam Davidson, at samdavidsonentertainment.com, Twitter and Instagram at samd43. You guys can also find me on Thursday at Riverdale at 9 p.m. It's a really, really fun after show. I think you guys would maybe like to, so catch us next week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
See ya!
See ya.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.